All right, so good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, I'm Richard Taylor, and I'm coming back with a quick update about a situation that I made a video about probably at the beginning of October, about a month ago. In that video, I explained how it was told to me that the Wayne County School Board was changing the criteria for volunteering at the public schools. And it was told to me by an inside source that they were particularly changing those criteria in order to prevent me specifically from volunteering at the school. And the policy was changed at the beginning of October. And that is when I received a letter saying that my application for volunteering has been denied, and I did have the right to appeal. And, of course, I went through this last year when I tried to volunteer. I submitted an appeal, and I was granted the opportunity to volunteer by the Wayne County School Board. Now, part of that change in policy took the power from the Wayne County School Board and put it in the hands of the superintendent solely in making that decision and reviewing the appeals. Now, as many as of you may know, for about 2 months, I've been sharing some information considering actions of a few of the principals in the Wayne County public school system, as well as the failing grades and report cards of each individual school, especially the inner city schools that I volunteer at. And it was told to me that because of those videos that the superintendent did not want me, Richard Taylor, in those schools. Now, as a part of the appeal process, I drafted an elaborate almost dissertation detailing, my work in the school last year, my work in the community. I sent him articles about, me taking, 40 children to Charlotte Hornets game. Many of those children attended Carver Heights School. I sent him, the information of the news articles that I've been interviewed, feeding the prisons and after school program, and taking the children to the museum and camping trips. I shared a lot of information. And most importantly, I shared that I served diligently and consistently and respectably all last year in the Carver Heights Reading Buddy program, where I read to 2 students every Tuesday and also had lunch with 2 students every Tuesday for about 2 hours, giving 2 hours of my time to those students. So I was assured that because of my service that, that decision would be overruled. But I got this letter, and this letter is dated October the 23rd. And you see it's just 4 sentences. Now, I received this letter about 2 weeks ago, and you know how, you can just feel something, that was disdainful or contemptuous, through even the letter's package and even the envelope. So as soon as I got it out the mailbox, I just dropped it on the couch because I knew that, it just didn't feel right. And so finally, before I took 10 children to a put down the guns, pick up the weights event, we left yesterday. We came back today, Sunday. I finally opened the letter, and this is what the letter reads. Now, it says, Dear Mr. Taylor, I have received your letter to appeal the school district's decision to deny your school volunteer application. After careful consideration of your letter, the information in your background check, and the selection criteria outlined in the Wayne County Board of Education Policy 5015, my decision is to deny your appeal. Signed, Marc A. WhiteCard, but I'm going to call him Mark a white card. Because that's exactly what he pulled in denying my application. And, to all of my, white and Caucasian supporters, my friends, please don't take what I am going to say personally, but this is just how I see this situation. And I have to call a spade and a club a club. But in this three sentence letter, after all that I sent to him, and he just said, after careful consideration of your letter, mind you, I received the denial letter on October the 16th. So I get this a week later, and he says, after careful consideration and considering the outlined the criteria in the school board policy 5015, I've decided to deny your appeal. Now, just as I stated last year, this guy, Mr. Mark A. WhiteCard, has only been a superintendent since July. And I'm not even sure if he's from here. I didn't do any research. But basically what, this boils down to me is, you can't volunteer because I'm white and I say so. Once again, don't, take this, once again, to all of I've been getting a lot of support, from various members of, various races on what I'm doing. So please don't take this personal, but this is what I see. And the reason being is because this Mr. WhiteCard didn't want to meet with me. He didn't, consider, all of I'm doing. I've never seen Mr. WhiteCard in any of these homes that I go to visit. When mothers call me to come and speak with their children, mothers call and ask me to take their children to some of these trips. Once again, these trips are full of students who attend this school. So if mothers are willing to put their children in my care, like I said, I just took 10 children, about 2 or 3 of them go to Carver Heights, and they got back safe and sound. If mothers and parents have no, if they have no inhibitions about me taking their children on trips and spending the night in camping trips in the woods and museum trips, which says solely me as their guardian, why or how could he even deem it fathomable that I won't be able to read to children in a school setting full of supervised adults in a structured setting? And like I said, this trip, it was 5 students that I have never met before. And when I met those students, I went to meet, some of the older teenagers, and 2 of them, 2 separate occasions, 2 separate households I went into, and one of the younger siblings said, "Hey, I know you. I remember you from the Reading Buddy program at Carver Heights." One student said, "Hey, yeah, I know you. You were my cousin Keon's Reading Buddy at the school." And so, this, it just brought it to memory. I wasn't going to do this, but, once again, as I mentioned in the first video, how sometimes things, you think about things and it just starts to eat at you. And I know, once again, it is only because of my outspokenness, considering Principal, the Spring Creek principal, who made the statement, who, I did videos about, Principal Mario Ray, and also probably Chris West, whatever his name is, one of the school board members. I know for a fact that, my outspokenness concerning those issues was a catalyst for them changing the criteria to prevent me from working and volunteering at the schools. Like I said, these children, I go to their homes. I've never seen Mr. WhiteCard in any of these locations. And so, I just want to, just respond to him. I think it was very cowardly for him to just give me these 3 letters. Now, I would show y'all the email. I mean, the email was just full of, just me outlining why, you guys should consider me to be a reading buddy. Once again, I served faithfully last year, no incident. So nothing has changed on my criminal background since last year. The only thing have changed is this policy, which basically takes the appeal process out of the board's members' hands and put them solely on Mr. Marc A. WhiteCard in his decision-making process. So I think this is very disingenuous of him, and also, those behind it, because I've never met you, and people come to say, well, maybe we should start a petition, or I'll call up there, or, you should fight it. And my response to this, and once again to my, my white supporters who, constantly give me encouragement and give me information to share. But what does it look like for me begging a white man to spend time with these children that I already spent time with out of school, children that he has no vested interest in, or he doesn't even care about the welfare thereof, because he's only been a superintendent only 2 months. What do I look like begging him for the opportunity to serve kids that I already served just because it is in his setting? This decision doesn't deny me. It doesn't stop me from working with these children, but I just want to show the hypocrisy and the outright, vengeance on the part of Mr. WhiteCard, because that is, once again, exactly what he is pulling. I'm white and I say so. Once again, like that's what he's basically saying in these 3 sentences. No, no in-depth reasoning, just I'm white and I say so. And once again, please, all of my white friends, don't take it personal. This is just directed to him. So what do you think? Why do you think that this decision was made, considering all I do in the community? Like I said, I have parents calling me probably weekly. Hey, I have a 13-year-old, 14-year-old that may need, some male guidance. They call me. They don't call Mr. WhiteCard. I wonder how many houses has Mr. WhiteCard been in? How many times has he visited, the low-income housing in which these students live at? I probably can tell you none. He has no vested interest in these children, but yet and still he's going to deny a person who has a vested interest, who has been a role model, who has been taking out his time free of charge to take children on trips, to do an after school program, which I have to do tomorrow. Literally, I'm just getting in from a 3.5 hour drive from Charlotte tonight, where I just dropped 10 to 15-year-old children, 5 of whom I've never met before yesterday or Friday, back off to their parents. And everybody arrived safe and sound. Nobody came back, with limbs missing. Nobody came back with criminal charges. None of that, right? So, I want y'all to show this to Mr. Marc WhiteCard, and that's why, I put the caption in there, because that is an example of what this is. Those students are filled with children who look like me, children whom I can relate to. Young black children who may not have a positive male figure, and I serve as that figure, but you're going to tell me, after careful consideration outlined in the Board of Education Policy 5015, in which I was specifically told that was modified. The criteria was changed just to keep Richard Taylor out of the school system. So I'm not upset. I could go in harder, but I'm really, really excited, because, meeting those guys and those activists from all across the state. I know, that the battle is not, just in the school system, because I have access to these children outside of the school system. But why would, once again, an entity, a Dr. WhiteCard, who has schools failing, several schools failing with a grade of F, where only 1 in 5 or 1 in 4 children are reading and doing math at a proficient level, where you have school board members gaining contracts for their relatives, where you have principals making what some perceive racist statements, where you have buildings falling apart, students, not being picked up for school and from school because of no room on buses or malfunctioning buses. You have all these problems, but you want to focus your attention on denying me, Richard Taylor, the ability to volunteer at these schools. So I hope someone shows this video to Mr. Marc A. WhiteCard and allow him to see that, I think you are very cowardly. I think you don't have these children's best interests at heart. And I know I definitely have not seen you at any of the events, the children events, or any of these neighborhoods. And I don't think any of the parents that I deal with have seen you in any of these neighborhoods or dealing with their children. So I'm not going to harp on it. I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing, which is giving of my time, my talent, my energy, and my treasure in whatever capacity I can, to make sure that these children, progress in a way that will help them overcome some of the obstacles that are set up in their environment, but also in society as a whole. So y'all tell me what y'all think. Mr. WhiteCard, if you want to call me, my number is 919-587-7782. If y'all work with them or somebody who knows them, share this video, because this is pretty much outlandish. Three sentences. 3 sentences is all I get, referencing the criteria, my background, and my letter, which clearly lays out, my reputation and my capabilities of being a very instrumental and efficient volunteer. Like I mentioned in the last video, I used to see board member Lynn Henderson out there every week. So I don't know why, he can't attest to this, or, did you speak with them, Mr. WhiteCard, or did you just pull your white card and say, well, I'm white and I say so, I don't like him because he speaks about the school system. But, nevertheless, peace and blessings to all of you guys who support this channel and support, righteousness and equity and justice for all people. I really thank y'all for what y'all doing. And y'all have a great night. I'm going to get some rest. It's been a long, hard 2 days riding with those 10 young, rowdy, but great-minded children who just need a little bit of guidance. And I'm willing to give it to them. Peace and blessings. Y'all have a good night.